Hello, I'm Maureen Rogers, and welcome to Curtain Call. I'm the artistic director at Laurel MD Playhouse, and I have a special guest with us today, Bob Reilly, who's going to do a show that involves audio visuals, readings from the book, music, and then we're going to go next door to Olive on Main and celebrate your birthday.
That's right.
So this is happening on April the 7th at 2 p.m. That's a Sunday. You need to get your tickets online prior to the show. I just want to put that in there. And Bob, why don't you tell me what's going to happen? I just kind of gave a brief description.
It was beautiful. Well, it's great to be here with you, Maureen, and inviting me in to tell a little bit about the show and what really brought us to this point both as a band and as a writer. The show is really, at this point, it's somewhat of a evolution of what's been going on in a lifetime of music, but also as an author. I published a book a little bit over a year ago. I can't believe it's been a year. And it just got to be very busy about book signings and special events and band and book events, combining the book promotion with the bands playing in and around the Washington area in the Mid-Atlantic. And this evolution really came to light. It's called Rideshare by Robert, that's the book, and it's about a 25,000 ride, 7-year journey. Now it's probably around 27,000 rides in rideshare, which is Lyft and Uber and those types of platform-based rides. And stories that came out of that. People from every walk of life, every country on the globe, every circumstance, every type of person you could ever imagine meeting. I believe I have met them with the approximately 40,000 people that I've had in my car over these last 8 years. And I'm a richer person for it, and I know more than I've ever known before as a result of these 8 years, because I learn so much on those rides. And what are the odds of meeting rocket scientists, literally, and people that study amoebas and fellow artists and people, as I say, from every walk of life in Washington, D.C. You get the full impact in this Baltimore, Washington area of such a diverse community of people globally. And so I wrote the book, and I'm working on a second book through a blog that I started last year with the Baltimore Post-Examiner. I had been writing several years for our community paper here, one of them called the Laurel Independent, and I do a column here called the Beat of Laurel. And so the writing, I was just captivated by it because I've been a writer all my life, but I didn't always have the opportunity to express that and do that as often as I do now. And so the blog is the basic content for book number 2. But it also created this idea of putting all of that out there in a production. And so my company's called Weinot Productions. And so I created several movies to augment and complement the show. As a songwriter and recording artist, I have a lot of material that I've recorded that we're going to bring some of that into the theater on April 7th at 2 p.m. and have that played as people are coming in, being seated, and maybe once again during the intermission, along with the movies. And I'll be in Act 1, so to speak. Mm-hmm. I'll be talking about the book, about my life, about the experiences, what brought me to that, telling stories about the rideshare experience, and then performing songs that have been written, rideshare songs, if you will, that have been written specifically through inspiration of the experience and the journey of rideshare. And immediately and that will be with my band, the Reilly Goulait Band, which is Mike Walls on drums. And Mike Walls, people here in Laurel may know Mike. He's all over and he does other things musically. and Joe Goulait, who was the Goulait in the Reilly Goulait Band. And this project is in its 13th year with the band. And they'll be doing those Rideshare songs with me. And then after the intermission, the band will come back up and play a set of music, mostly cover songs from the Beatles to you name it. The last 60 years, 6 decades of music, we're going to combine into that set. So there's going to be something there for everybody.
Sounds like so much fun.
It's going to be fun. Yeah.
Now, how long have you been doing music, playing, singing? How old were you? Let me put it that way.
Yeah, actually out performing live in a band. I started around 14 years of age.
Wow.
I celebrate my 71st birthday on April 5th. So that weekend will be my birthday celebration. And immediately following the show, by the way, that we have on April 7th, the tickets will also include meals and beverages next door at the Olive on Main restaurant. Literally, you just walk right out the theater, out one door into the other theater, into the other restaurant, and go ahead and enjoy a great meal. Once we break down some of the stuff from the stage, we're going to come next door and spend some time with you and do book signings and that kind of thing. So, yeah.
So why do you do music? What kind of joy does it give you?
Yeah, well, I'll go back to the original question. I kind of got off track there a little bit, but so right around 14, I went out, but I always loved music. I mean, I remember my mother singing, even as a young child in the kitchen, doing things around the house and singing, and I was captivated by that. But then I have 2 older sisters. I come from a family of 9 kids, and my 2 older sisters really were the introduction to music for me. You know, they had their 45s and their albums, and to this day, we just lost our first sibling on St. Patrick's Day this year. So I'm actually dedicating this show to her, Kathy. But she and my oldest sister Judy, had these records, and boy, oh boy, every opportunity I had to slap those records on their little record player and listen to my transistor radio, and hear that music, I was hooked at a very young age. And so this thing of live performance, but also singing and providing music both inside and outside church has been an entire lifetime, over 55 years, 60 years of doing that.
So what advice, since you've been in it so long, what advice would you give somebody starting out writing songs, singing, writing books? What advice would you give to them?
Well, I actually have a story in the book, because what happens oftentimes is this, as the conversation turns to the book, I advertise it in the cars. But younger people often ask, well, how do you do this? And the same question you just asked. And so it's called mentoring a young person. And basically what I did is I summarized it by this, if you have this thing in your life, because in this particular story, the young woman was asking, I would love to write, and I believe I could be a good writer, and I play some guitar. I think I'm going to make a living out of it, And so at that point, the person, me, is faced with the challenge of encouraging, driving some fire into that passion, and at the same time applying wisdom, and hard-earned wisdom at that, to taking such a route. And so what I do oftentimes, I will just tell my own story, which is I had this avocation, or this parallel career, through my entire life. I came from logistics supply chain industry, with companies like UPS and DHL, and started a couple consulting companies. I did very well at them, but my heart and I knew my mission in life, and more importantly, my calling was music and the arts, because it's just what propelled me, what drove me, and being immersed in that world forced creativity into places maybe where this one brain kind of process wasn't really being applied in the industry. So it helped me be a more creative manager, even in my career. But I told the young woman, and I tell people in general that are thinking about this, pursue your dreams, yes, but do it with clarity and a sense that don't put a timeline on success, and you might even have to redefine what success means. To me, success means pursuing your dreams, staying at it, being passionate, that if it breathes life into what you do, and at some point, it's not going to be about the money, it's not going to be about all these other things, the celebrity of it. It's going to be about good stewardship of a gift that you've been given or multiple gifts you've been given, and how to apply that in the marketplace to inspire others to continue doing their dreams, but tempering all of that with the reality that you got to make a living at the same time, So be wise in your pursuit, but don't let go of the dream. You'll find out in time whether it's a calling or not, because it doesn't matter what other people think. You're called to do this. And more importantly, when you realize that, you can then say, I'm a writer, I'm an artist, I'm an actress, whatever the case may be. So I would say keep it alive, pursue it, work the soil of that gift and that passion, but temper it with the reality of making a living, and hang in there, because you don't know what's around the corner.
Some very good words of wisdom. Well, I certainly hope that everybody will attend this. It's a special afternoon. We'll have, you'll be playing for 45 minutes, and then we'll take or talking or singing, and then we'll take an intermission with some refreshments, and then we'll finish up with another 45 minutes, and you'll have a book signing maybe next door, and the book will be available to purchase. And of course, Nadal Hishma from Olive on Main has fabulous food, and you can choose any food you like, within the gift card that we're going to give you. So thanks so much for coming. I really appreciate it out of your busy times, and I look forward to seeing you on Sunday, April the 7th. And you can go to laurelmillplayhouse.org and buy your tickets there. You can also call 301-617-9906 to find out more information. But you should hurry, because those tickets are selling.
Yes, they are.
So we'll be back with an actor and the playwright of winter. We're doing something a little different. It's not until June the 12th, but we wanted to talk to the actual playwright about this particular show. So stay tuned.
I am a superwoman. Yes, I am.
The city of Laurel hosted their first Women's History Month celebration, spotlighting diversity, equity, and inclusion.
It's so exciting to be able to provide this to the community, a place where women can learn about different things and discover themselves. So it was a really humbling experience to be able to do this.
Women's History!
For this story and more like it, check out youtube.com/LaurelTVOfficial.
Hi, I'm Maureen Rogers, and welcome back to Curtain Call. And I have two very special guests with us. This is kind of unusual because this is a show that we're not going to do until June the 12th. And we haven't even started rehearsing it yet. We have been reading it. Bill Brecky and I have been reading it. There's only two actors in the show. Mark Scharf is the playwright. He has written this. So we kind of wanted to just kind of walk along the path of how you came to write the show, and how we felt when we started reading it to ourselves and then to each other. I will say we fell in love with it right away.
Oh, that's good. Glad to hear that.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, because you've been a playwright and involved in theater for many, many years.
I've been at writing plays since my first production was in 1981. And that was at the University of Virginia, where I was in grad school to get an MFA in playwriting. And since then, I've continued at it. I'm either writing or marketing them, sending them out, trying to get productions and readings, trying to make them better. And for me, I think there's a lot of truth to the saying that plays are never finished, they're abandoned. You can tinker with it forever. But I've written many plays have been produced all across the U.S. and published in England and Singapore and Beijing.
Oh, wow.
I have a Chinese translation of a comedy called Get Stuff, which you produced.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which you produced here. And I think it's the best of both worlds for a writer, because you get the solitude of working by yourself, but then you get the gift of community. All these people that you have to work with in order to actually create the play, because to me it doesn't really exist as a play until it's on its feet with the actors and director and
Right.
lights and sound and all that good stuff.
I think a playwright is like a set designer, because you say the play is abandoned. The set designer is there last day, 10 minutes before people walk in, tweaking things here and there, so it's your baby, and through the show, something doesn't work, So, and you sent us a couple little changes too.
I sent, on just yesterday. I'd had a reading of the show that gave me a chance to hear it and imagine seeing it. It was done with lights and sound in Florida. And a couple little things that just occurred to me, and I thought, well, maybe they haven't started memorizing yet, because the last thing I want to do is tell an actor who's memorized the lines. By the way, we've changed that. I don't want to throw anybody any curveballs.
Right. And we've just been reading it. We really haven't memorized it yet. So
well, they were earth-shaking changes.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Stuff I needed to do.
So can you tell our audience a little bit about the play?
Sure. It's a love. I think of it as a love story, but unlike many love stories which have to deal with the young, this has to do with people who are well seasoned, who are older, and I think that's also a valuable subject, that people, when they get older, also have these experiences and are still sexual beings, and how when you are older, you have all this experience, which I think is a positive thing. But I think of a quote from O'Neill, I guess it's from A Long Day's Journey, that the past is never past. It's present, it's the future too. And so how the way the past impinges on the present interested me, as well as portraying a couple of people who've been around the block a few times, connect or don't connect. So the play comes from my own getting older and issues that occur, and from a technical playwriting standpoint, I was also wanting to try something a little different, which you've noticed in the script, where instead of a line, it may just have ellipses, because people. I was talking to Bill in the green room. People, actors, characters, you don't always say something. You can communicate with just a change in body language or a look. So like a Stan Getz solo, jazz solo, I wanted to give the actors a chance to play it differently. And it's still correct. There's no, this is not wrong, this is wrong, unless you're standing on the chair screaming and throwing things. But it's, I wanted to try that out and give that information to an actor, so that when he says something, maybe you just give him the stink eye,
right,
and then he sees you give him the stink eye, then how does he react to that? He doesn't say anything. It's like,
right,
his physicality, his populates, fills out that silence.
I'm looking forward to that too, because a lot of times when you act on stage, you don't have time to do that. It's all the lines. So I think, and I remember you sent me that note right at the beginning. Mm-hmm. So we have tried to incorporate that into our reading. So that was very good. Both of us, when we first read it, just loved it right away.
Thank you.
You know, it was just, and you can't put it down. You cannot put it down. You have to wait to the end and see what happens.
Oh,
so.
you need to come home with me then. And I need that kind of encouragement. When I take, I'll just give you all the new pages.
There you go. So Bill, how did you feel about it? So Bill and I are in the show, and we kind of picked each other. We didn't audition for it. I've acted with Bill before, and we like to act with each other. So tell us about your thoughts about the play.
Well, it was as I get older, I'm taking and being offered more parts that are more age appropriate, and for example, not this, but parts where the character dies and things like that, but so and I think that's good because although I'd rather play the young leading man in some ways, I understand what an older man is like, and so I was interested in doing this, and I've been sort of looking at other plays that have older men in them as well. So I was glad to see this, and it was quite obvious, just by flipping through it, which I kind of cheat, to see kind of what kind of thing is going on, and it was quite clear that it was, a couple that had gotten back together, and then I was intrigued, so I read it, and this is a kind of a common story. In fact, my grandfather, after he was widowed in the late 1960s, got together with his high school girlfriend, and they got married and had fun in Europe skiing and stuff. And so this is so I didn't know how it ended, of course, but I was like you say, I was very interested in following through it and to see what was going on, and it was the idea that it was a guy getting back together with his high school girlfriend 50 years later was somewhat intriguing to me. My high school girlfriend passed away about 2 years ago, shortly before our 50th reunion would have happened. Mm. So that kind of made me think of that, and just seeing all the things that they were talking about and reminiscing about. It was very interesting. I really and it seemed as I went through it, it seemed very, very real, and not like a lot of I've seen a number of two-man shows with a man and a woman, and often it's a tremendous conflict, and there's a lot of high stakes and so forth, and the stakes didn't seem to be that high, but it seemed very, very real, and so I really liked that.
Yeah, and you can draw your own conclusion at the end as to what happens, or whether it continues or not, and I think that was sort of interesting, yeah, too. We went through that discussion, and even like towards the end, I always, when we read it, I start getting like a little emotional, Well,
that's good.
Yeah, me too.
It's just so intriguing, and we're so glad that you wrote it, and they're going to help us along this path. Laurie Brune is directing it, and what we'll do later on is bring everybody back and talk about how the journey went. And we've done, Laurel Mill Playhouse has done lots of your shows and one acts, and
10 since 2000.
Wow, that's
how, being an older playwright.
Yeah. I wonder how we first met, how it even happened.
I think somehow or other I saw an advertisement or a public notice that you were seeking plays for a one-act festival.
But that was it.
And I got into the festival met everybody, and it's like home.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it feels it's so incredibly supportive and encouraging, and yet takes care of business.
Right.
It's
right.
It's not lackadaisical.
It's a busy place.
I'm trying to find the right word because I'm a writer. But, and I'm glad to hear you say that about the end of the play, because I'd like the final act to take place in the car on the way home. You know, when people be able to discuss it or maybe have different points of view about.
Right.
I think it's a natural inclination to want to know, well, what happens? I mean, that's the whole point. What happens next? And then?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
then? That's how you keep writing. And then what happens? Okay, if I can keep you turning the pages, or for a play, stop time.
Yeah.
You know, where, an hour passed. It didn't feel like an hour, but.
That's true. It is true.
And the other thing, for the character's name is Bonnie. I wanted to write a part for an actress. I still say actress, an actor, female actor, an actress who is older, who is well seasoned, and and the character herself doesn't take any guff.
I like that.
You know, she's confident. She's made decisions. She's not to be taken lightly. She's or manipulated. She's been around the block, and I thought that would be attractive for an actor.
And the words are there. I mean, it's there. It's the attitude is there. It's so easy to act like that with those words.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
You guys are making me feel I'm going to have a hard time getting home, getting my head in the car. Thank you.
So was there? It's great to have a play with older people, and I think Laurel Mill Playhouse has an older group of actors. We have the young ones too, but a lot of times in the regular plays, there's just maybe one part for an older actor.
Character parts.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
yeah. Now I know Concordia just released a bunch of plays for seniors, which I think is a great move forward. I mean, certainly the seniors are around, they want to act and they want to continue.
Now, when I was 20, I was writing about 20-year-olds, and
Yeah.
And when now that I'm older, I thought I'll try to give voice to these folks and their concerns, and like I said, these tropes that we stop caring or stop wanting certain things or don't have desires anymore. It's not true. People just don't pay attention.
Right, right. Or they dismiss you.
Yeah, they dismiss you. And we'll talk about older people right in front of you as if you didn't exist.
Yeah, yeah. Or, oh, Mom, my kids don't do that, but sometimes you can just see people going, oh, let me help you, But I think we're going to have a great time rehearsing for this. Lori's got ideas for the sets. We hope that you come. And
I'll be there.
Yeah.
And I hope there's humor in there as well.
Oh, there is.
You can play the
Yeah, yeah. Because I'm sort of a character actress. I feel like I can find the funny parts easily.
Good.
So it starts June the 12th. It's going to go for 2 weekends. You're just finding this out today. I'm
happy to hear it.
Yeah. So we're going to do like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe add a Thursday if we need, because we're all in the planning stages here.
I'll bring a few people.
Okay, I bet you will. Thank you so much, Mark, for writing this play and coming and visiting Curtain Call. And Bill, thank you for being my opposite for this and agreeing to do it.
Well, you're a lot of fun.
Thank you. And we look forward to seeing you there, and there's many other things coming up. I know I mentioned earlier Bob Reilly was coming April the 7th. Also on April the 14th, we're having a Celtic festival. And that is a Sunday at 2 o'clock. Those tickets are online right now. So we'll have to get this online real soon. So thanks again for watching, and we look forward to seeing you all again.